and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stay on this front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey, hey.
Heart beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more.
Lincoln Riley's death sparked outrage and controversy over immigration policies.
Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is at the state capitol explaining new laws here in Georgia, but also nationwide.
The bill here at the State House didn't get a whole lot of attention before Riley's murder, but just 1 month after the 22-year-old nursing student was killed, the bill passed.
Sadly, her family had to suffer to get it done. but it's done now.
That's State Representative Jesse Petrie. He sponsored House Bill 1105. It requires Georgia's sheriffs and local governments to cooperate with ICE detainers and hold undocumented people they arrest. It's very similar to the federal Laken Riley Act, which was signed by President Donald Trump just 3 weeks ago, the first bill he signed in his second term. It was carried by Georgia Congressman Mike Collins. The Laken Riley Act allows for the detention of unauthorized immigrants for lesser crimes, things like theft or shoplifting. Riley's killer was charged with shoplifting shortly before her murder. Collins said it'll fight crime twofold.
It'll do it by just getting rid of some of the people as they catch them, but it's going to be a good deterrence. And you're going to see people that have come across here for nefarious reasons. They're going to pack up and go back home.
The Laken Riley Act was officially used for the first time this week to deport an undocumented man in Indiana who had multiple driving offenses before eventually killing a man in a wreck. At the State House, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
It is hard to believe that it has been a year since this senseless, disgusting death occurred. If we have to look at one thing that happened from the positive of losing this angel, a person that never got to really spread her wings and become the person she wanted to be, we woke up America and we proven over and over again these people are not undocumented immigrants. They are illegally here. They are not the upstanding citizens that the previous administration has portrayed them to be. Just like our ancestors came here peacefully, assimilated, and became U.S. citizens and built the greatest country in the world. So by the grace of her loss and her family's loss, this angel's wings have spread. We listened, we woke up, and now we are making this country great again. It is just, again, hard to believe. February 22nd, 2024, this happened. Here we are a year later, and I'm telling you, we are a better country for this sad, sad tragedy because we were able to wake up the people, wake up our legislators, and say enough's enough. We are tired of being victims. We are tired of living in fear, and we are tired of this baloney, and it's all self-made by the crazy left Democrats. So here we are on a Sunday matinee. We wanted to come online just to do a real kind of a quick thing. Restream, the program that we use, gave us a lot of updates and a lot of new features. So we wanted to kind of take it for a test drive today to make sure everything was working fine. Because anytime you get some new tools, you got to try them out first, and that's what it is. So Brenda was able to figure out the updates. There were some technical things that they updated that we can do that you won't see on the show, but like there's an AI program that you can utilize that cuts our long show into little sections, and it produces a pretty cool video, and those videos are shared out on other formats. TikTok, we love to be on TikTok, but the problem is we can't keep a show under an hour long because we have so many great people, so many people that want their voices to be heard. Again, this is really the only format we have locally that we the people can come on here and type your messages in if you don't want to call in. Some people don't want to do that. We just want to make sure that we the people here locally in Erie County and around the area, we're starting to grow. I know we talked about this. We've got folks in Florida. We've got family in Florida that watch the show, and then I have friends that are watching it down in Florida. Folks in Texas are watching us because they're from this area and they get that hometown connection. And that's why we try to do a little bit of a balancing act between national and local politics and current events that affect everybody. And that's what we do here. So I want to make a special hello to Mayor Longo. Thank you for coming in, sir. We appreciate it down in Slippery Rock. I'll tell you what, You talk about a guy from a small town that carries a big stick in the political world. He is that guy. Search him up. He's on the stage with all the big shots. I guess all it must be a JD thing. We got JD Longo, we got JD Vance. It must be a JD thing and a Marine thing because those two are both Marines. So we appreciate everything the mayor's doing down there. His lovely wife and their new addition to their family. Thanks for stopping by on a Sunday. We appreciate that. It's actually we're doing pretty good. I mean, we've been kind of like redoing things and trying to figure out which channels are the best where we get the most traction. We were watching X. There wasn't much traction on X. All of a sudden now we're getting traction on X. Well, that's good. And like I said, we're doing these AI videos and we'll be posting them on TikTok. So you can go to it's not boots on the ground with Brian Shank. It's Shank boots on the ground because the other one was already taken. So you can still just type in boots on the ground. You'll get it. Semper Fidelis. I get that, sir. Armies is hard to say, but Semper Fi, everybody knows Semper Fi, and I get that. But yeah, so we just want to come here on a Sunday afternoon. We wanted to a special moment to just say goodbye to a lovely angel that was taken way too soon. Unfortunately, her anniversary was yesterday, and yesterday was a crazy day here locally. We just had the Lincoln breakfast. Great politicians. We're seeing the rebuild of the Republican Party. We're seeing the red wave locally really start to pick up some speed, and that's exactly what we want. We have some great candidates, down from city council all the way up to county executive. And these midterm elections are so important, people. These are the ones that are on school boards and they're on for county council. We got a couple real Democrat knuckleheads trying to take over county council, and if we don't put a stop to it, we're just going to keep they're just going to keep tax and spending, tax and spending, tax and spending, and that's what they do best. Oh, thank you. Yeah, just shared your stream on X. Thank you, appreciate that. Like I said, I got a little count clicker up here. You can't see it. I can see. We got X. We got wow. We just jumped to like 6 on X, and everybody else is on Facebook. YouTube is coming up. Please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, and share. That way we can get better traction and get better coverage on that channel. It's nice to see it. It's up and running. I don't know if it was a technical end on our side, but we were getting 0 on X. Now today we're up to 6. And then 6 is like, well, what's 6? Trust me, that 6 turns to 12. That turns into 24 because it just starts there and churns and it gets better positioning when you do a searches. So it's basically, it's your show. You guys are in control. You guys are the likes and the shares and the subscribes. I'm just the guy in the microphone. Brenda's in the she shed in the command center with her tools, making sure that the videos play up nice. We did shorten the intro just a little bit. We will put the pledge back in again. We're restructuring how the show looks, and we didn't want to make too many technical changes at once because then you go, oops, something's wrong. We don't know where to go look where it's bad. It's a program. So you have to play with the program and get it right. And it's restream. We do have a little banner down here. We've kind of made a decision to ask for a sponsor or sponsors. Uh, it's a $480 upgrade, but I'll tell you what, it gives us a high definition and it gives us up to 8 channels. So, that's where we're ready to spread our wings a little bit farther on this type of hybrid format. It's not a podcast where you go to Spotify or whatever and listen just the audio. We want to do a hybrid where we can bring in the videos from these news entities and influencers on X and TikTok and Facebook and bring the videos and say, here's the video. It's just not me sitting here in the command center here in Harbor Creek. Yeah, so it must be like a 2-for-1 special on X. Thanks, JD, for spreading that around. It jumped from 6 to 16, like boom, just like that. Brenda just typed it up. I checked the stat counter, and it's funny how we'll do one of these spur of the moment shows, and they end up doing really well. Well, we're finding that people have a little bit more time on a Sunday afternoon. It's Sunday. We're just kind of relaxing for the day, kind of rebooting, getting the kids' clothes washed, doing laundry, doing stuff we have to do. I have to go do a celebrity bartending at 7:30 at the Sunflower Club with State Representative Jake Banta for the Fallen Riders. So if you're in the Erie area, stop up at the Sunflower Club. Jake and I will be on at 7:30, and it's the money that we get in our tip jar. We don't keep that money; gets turned right back over to the Fallen Riders. And the Fallen Riders is a great organization. Hi, Greg Hayes. You're live.
How you doing there, Brian?
Pretty good. It was nice seeing you yesterday with all that.
Yeah, we had a pretty decent day with good old, the rest of those guys were all great turnout for the Lincoln breakfast. And then obviously when we got into the thing with Dave, look at how crowded that was as far as just people trying to get around.
They really underestimated the popularity of our new senator because we packed the place.
Oh, Dave's if people would get to know him, he is such a personable. I've known him probably for about 5-10 years now.
Right.
And he's just, it's funny because if you know him, even like I know him, and then you hear, oh, he's worth like $150 million. You almost kind of want to scrunch your head and go, really?
You couldn't tell.
No, he doesn't act like he's got, he's just like a school teacher, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't act above his pay grade is way up there.
Right. I know on the screen right now, I've got a picture of Dave and Mrs. Ridge and one of Brenda's hats. Make Erie great again.
Oh yeah, she was pushing those good. Actually, Dave is going to take it to the Capitol and get pictures with some dignitaries.
I know.
With that hat.
That's what he said. He says, I'll take it to Harrisburg. I'll do a selfie at the Capitol. I'll take it in front of some of my other friends because you know what? You're right. Let's make Erie great again. And I know it's a parody off of Let's Make America Great Again. Listen, we're making America great again. Why can't we make Erie great again also? In
the same way.
And we are.
Yeah, that's the reason why. I mean, you see nationally as far as how they're finding fraud, they're finding all this stuff that we actually have probably known about in our heads. We know doggone well the government wastes money. But I don't think any of us had any idea of the amount. And as they're hearing it, they're talking a possible $1 trillion.
Well, right, because we see all the fraud, waste, and abuse in companies. We get that, but you know what? A company has to be lean and mean to make money, but the government doesn't have to, and they don't care. Just like the old saying goes, when you're working at government, close enough for government work. No, it's not. That widget or part you're making.
That's why I was so upset by what I saw today. I've known about this, but it just put it into the forefront as far as with Jasmine Flores and that thing that's out right now as far as what happened. I mean, the city of Erie is in a lot of trouble, and we know it.
Right.
The money's, they've got more 501c3s than they got people.
You're right.
They have so much stuff that, I understand their do-good attitude, and I really applaud some of the stuff that they've tried. But Erie is one giant downtown mall.
Well, and you're
Remember
right.
that?
Right. No, it was, but that's when Erie you had the Boston story, and everybody lived downtown, and everybody worked at Bucyrus Erie, and they worked
and then
at the mill.
built his
Transitway Mall. That was
Mm-hmm.
again
And
Democrats. Yeah, Democrats killing the cities, and and what did we do? What did Albert Einstein tell us about this? Just keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different
definition
outcome.
of insanity.
Is the
Exactly.
definition of insanity.
And we do, but when you have and the thing that kind of resonated with me more than anything else is when you take a look at that clip that's on there about when the people were speaking up against Miss Flores. I was on the airport authority. I know what it's like. You want to talk. You want to be able to say. You want to interact with the constituents. You want to be able to get their ideas and everything else. But it's like, hey, you don't have the right to be insulting. Or she wasn't insulting. She was asking for a resignation.
I totally get it. Trust me, we've got the video. We've got a TikTok video that was done by. It wasn't done by me. It was done by somebody else. Somebody not even in the area, and it's almost got 100,000 views. That doesn't include the videos that actually went viral by the millions by the libs of TikTok and several YouTube influencers. So this
Right.
isn't just Brian and Greg picking on this poor little city
Yeah.
council person. No,
No, I don't have a thing against her personally. I don't even know her.
I've met her.
Yeah.
I've met her when I was on
I've said
council.
hi to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've met her a couple times. Trust you me, she was snotty as you think she really is. I mean,
Yeah.
I was at
She
an
was fun.
event. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was the only Republican asked to come out and speak at the GE strike because I was a union member. My dad was a GE guy.
Sure.
She would not even acknowledge the fact that I was a Republican or a human being there, and the union asked me to speak. I didn't ask. They contacted me and said, "Brian, we know you care about the workers. You're a union guy. Your dad was you're a legacy. We want you to speak." I basically went up there and I'm like, "You think we should do the Pledge of Allegiance?" Oh yeah. They didn't even think about that. But she just sat
It's
there
not
with her.
in their repertoire.
No.
I mean, you remember when Biden would be up and speaking, and there's no American flag in the background, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, we get that. But then we're just picking on we're just picking on her
Yeah.
because one lady on social media is like, you guys just don't like powerful women. What? Where did we say that? All we're saying is you cannot judge me or you because we wear a red hat. And if you do,
No.
you're a member of the KKK. No, actually, that was the grandfather of the KKK is the Democrat Party. So stop
And
your
people
bullshit on
still sit
us.
there and people still sit there and try to deny that.
No, I know they
But
do.
if you really look at it and look at what the historical pictures, look at the march on when they had it at Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
It shows the KKK walking right down the street right there at and went right in.
And of course, there's
So I mean, they were an invited
Yeah.
group.
well, just like there's a
So I
picture.
mean, it's not that we're making this stuff up. It's
There's
the
a
way it
picture.
is.
There was a picture of Joe Biden on a campaign trail with the grand poobah of the KKK. They, oh no, that's fake. That's Photoshop. No, that's not fake, and it wasn't Photoshop. It was, and there's a video that, of course, they're arguing back and forth. He drops the N word. President Joe, Uncle Sniffy Joe. I'm bringing it, the N bomb right at a presentation. It's out there.
Yeah.
Google it up. It's not me. Why do you think they push to erase history? Because they know
Sure.
they're dirty.
Well, I mean, if you just look at it, I mean, when I was a child, I mean, I'm 62 years old. When I was a child and I look back at Wallace, McGovern, this was the Democratic Party. And the only reason why that all switched, and I always wondered because realistically, a Southern Democrat was not a pro black person advocate at all.
No, they were not.
I mean, they absolutely hated it. And this is in my lifetime. This isn't like way back when and all that. I mean, yeah, I'm older, but you understand what I'm saying. I mean,
Right.
You and I are about the same age.
Yeah.
But, when we grew up, I mean, I remember Wallace and McGovern and some of these other guys just going nuts. I mean, it was as a kid, but I mean, if it sits in my mind, even when I was a child, it must have been pretty extreme. So,
Oh, I
look-
totally agree with you. I totally
you
agree
look
with
at that. I mean, I don't understand. It's always Democrats against Republicans. Okay, now in Erie right now, it needs to be Erie against the world.
I agree.
And this partisan. I have friends that are Democrats. I have lifelong friends that are Democrats. And normally, if you really want to categorize them, I would call them older Democrats, because at least back then we could speak to each other. We disagree. Sometimes we'd agree to disagree, but we could work through it. Now, like you said, as far as Ms. Flores, when you were at that event, you're subhuman. You're a constituent of theirs. That's like telling your boss to go screw himself.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, because they've pigeonholed themselves into where the Republicans have just said, "I'm not doing it. They're just going to beat me up. What's the chances?" No,
Sure.
you never surrender. What did Commodore Hazard Perry say? Don't give up the ship. And you know what? The
Exactly.
Republican Party has given up the ship. Now,
Well,
we
and
have changed that direction.
well, to a point, we still have our biggest
Oh, I
battles. It's the
know.
worst part. Being an ex-candidate, and myself and you, we know it's a heck of a lot harder winning within the Republican Party than it is running against the Democratic advocate.
Oh, I agree with you. You know, and the numbers show, you know,
We tear each other apart. We go absolutely nuts. We put in questionable candidates sometimes. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we need to be as a unit advocating for the country or advocating for the city or advocating for the county, not trying to be some, whoever, what that kind of deal. I mean, it's supposed to be about trying to make the place better.
right.
As the hat says, make Erie great again.
And
I mean,
and
it's
that's
been a long time since it has been great.
you know, we've had this downcline and we've had this downslide and we've had this downslide where again, I read a report, you know, Harrison, if you're listening, you know, Google this
Mhm.
up. I know you're the numbers guy. I think it's like over 40% of the commercial buildings in the city of Erie are nonprofit. And then the little guy gets stuck,
You got to make up the difference.
has to make up that difference. And every time they tear down a house that pays taxes and make it nonprofit, that's about a what $3,000 to $5,000 loss. Well, let's just recreate. We didn't raise taxes, but you created a
You made the problem.
wastewater. You know, God gives us this water for free because we need it to survive. By God, the city of Erie charges to get rid of it. You know, even if
Yeah.
you flush it or put it down the toilet, you're paying for it one way or the other, you know. And then Erie has a tendency to be what 5, 10, 15 years behind the curve. DEI, it's done,
always been
but
like
they don't,
that.
they won't get it. They just don't get it's done, you know.
And then I mean, it's always been like when I lived in California for a while. I always bring back the adage about the music. You listen to something on the radio, they'd be playing it just like we do. Sometimes they get onto a top song and they play it to death. And by the
Right.
time you're done listening, you're pretty much done listening to it. And then they'd come home and we'd have a new song hitting the airways.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like, wait a second, I didn't travel in time, did I? I mean, obviously, when I come back, you were 2 to 3 months, sometimes even a year behind where they were out west.
Oh, I totally get it. I mean, I
And
totally
it
get it.
does the same thing with our politics because as you look at the national waking up is what's a good way of putting it. They're waking up, and we're still playing games with stuff that was being done 2, 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, we know the outcome. Just look, because it's going
know
to
the
happen.
Oh,
If you want to, I mean, all elected officials in this county should be looking at not a party win, not anything else. It should be simply what's going to turn the city around. Is there ever a list? And I don't know, maybe like Harrison, you said Harrison's listening. Is there a list? How many nonprofits do we actually have in this city?
Oh, they have to be listed. You know, it's just that, you know, you got to know where to
I'd
look.
love to hear a number.
Yeah. Well, we'll
And
give Harrison a homework assignment to let us know how many nonprofits there are in the city of Erie.
I guarantee you it's a whole lot more than what people think.
Oh, I get it. Well, you know, and I'm not. Watch this. I'll get in a lot of trouble for this one. You know, Gannon University, they gobble up entire city blocks and take
Yeah.
out tax-paying houses. Mercyhurst does
Now,
the same
how is that a
thing.
nonprofit organization simply because it's
I
got
know.
a tie to
Well,
the Catholic Church?
I understand that. Well, Mercyhurst, you know, all of them, you know, LeCom. I mean, it is what it is. I
Erie
mean,
Insurance. If you're Erie Insurance or Hammett Hospital are nonprofits in any way, shape, or form, I would like to now formally donate all my money to them, and I'll take their nonprofit.
yeah. Well, Harrison just typed in the room here. I just put it up in the main room. 1.4 billion of our total 4.65 billion in real estate. There are about 1,100 nonprofits.
That's insane.
It is, and you wonder
mean-
why. And how does these nonprofits, some of them are good, some of them are like just repeating themselves over and over again, doing the same thing again. We still have homeless, but look at the one guy that actually takes a bold step to stop this homeless is Brenton Davis, and they him up and down, left and right.
Oh, Brandon and I were talking a good while yesterday, and I mean, it's frustrating isn't even a word anymore. I mean, when you look at what's trying to be done, not trying to, I mean, Brenton's not sitting there with his pocket open, one for me, one for you, that kind of thing. But unfortunately, a lot of the nonprofits do it. Take a look at the incomes of the people that run the nonprofit.
Right.
I mean, I own a business. Okay. I teach, obviously with aviation. I have looked into it, and if I turned just a part of it, my kids program or something like that, into a nonprofit, I could quadruple my income in 1 year.
Oh yeah. 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 I mean, I'm
But
sorry, I forgot
and
about
that's just
Edinburgh
not the
down
way
there.
I was. It's just not the way I was raised to do
No,
that.
I mean, I totally get it, Greg. And you do got great points because of the age we're brought up, being a businessman and having a successful business, and have felt the wrath of the local politicians if you're on the wrong
Sure.
side of the street of the way the wind blows this week. You feel it. I know your
Oh, I
backstory.
can
I
tell
won't
you
put it.
right now, I've never taken a dime from COVID,
Yep.
from nonprofits, from anything ever.
Yeah.
And I just won't. I mean, it's called principles, call it whatever you want, but that's the way I was raised. My wife went through a time where she, had need for services and stuff, and her and I have argued about that back and forth. But it does make sense with some people. There's times in your life you need a little help.
I
Okay.
gotcha. No,
And
I totally get
understand
it.
that, but it's not a lifestyle.
It's supposed to be a hand up, not a hand out. But
Exactly.
yeah,
And
Greg, I do got to cut this off there. I know I got a couple
not a
callers. We
problem. I
got
just
some
wanted to
videos.
call in,
No,
Brian. It
you
was
you
great
had
seeing you yesterday, and I hope everybody tell Brenda I said hi, and I will talk to you guys soon.
you are a friend of the show. You're always welcome to call in anytime. It's good to get a business side of life. You've run your business successfully
I
in New York County
tried.
for a long time.
The last thing I just want to say one real quick thing,
Go
and I
ahead.
know you got to go. Is whatever happened to the idea when you want to build a business, you come up with an idea, you pull your money together, whatever you have, you do whatever you possibly can, and you put your nose to the grindstone and get to work, and then you build that business.
Yeah.
People like Frank Zern and stuff like that have been friends of mine throughout my life.
Yeah.
You start talking to these guys. Now, the first thing you hear, you got an idea. Well, now we got to look around and see what kind of grants we can get.
What kind of deal can we make?
Hey, if there's anybody out there in your listening thing that knows of a grant that's waiting for me, please call.
No, I got it, man.
It's just a different way of thinking about it. You don't, in my way of thinking about business, it's the old style. I admit it. But you don't go looking. I mean, sure, if somebody comes up and got some kind of grant and whatever, I've obviously talked to politicians all the time. Well, you don't see me with a ton load of grants. Actually, you see me with none.
No,
but
I mean, I get
that's
it.
the way we were raised.
Oh, I totally get it. But that's unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And, get back in the chat. Harrison's got a bunch of great information he's posted. I'm trying to post them up, the little pieces. But yeah, tell your lovely wife I said hello. Thanks, Greg, for calling in. We appreciate your perspective. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know if we did a blue light special on X today, but we're at like 79 people on X. That is like a world's record on a live broadcast, especially on a Sunday afternoon. So everybody listen on X, thank you. We appreciate you. Share the love as much as you can because this is your channel. I'm just here staring it. And you guys are, you're the gasoline moving it down the road. But yeah. So again, great perspective. Things are here that we need to change. We've changed things on national level, and I can't understand why a party can absolutely push back on trying to save our tax dollars. Hi, Kim Hunter, you're live.
Well, hello, Brian. I'm gonna make mine short because Greg was on so long. It's a good thing you only did a test today because if it was a real show,
I
you might
know.
break 100 people.
Right now. X is at 80 people live. I never had that
Loving
many
it,
on X.
loving it. I just called in because, hey, guys and girls, I will be at the Sunflower Club tonight supporting Brian and Jake. It's for ABET, and it's a great charity. So I hope to see a lot of people out there while Brian is a celebrity bartender. The other thing I wanted to keep everybody up to date on is my campaign kickoff will be this Friday evening at Calamari, starting at 6. So I hope to see everybody out there. Uh, Brian and I have invited a lot of the other candidates to come along, bring out their petitions so you can talk to them. One thing I want to make very clear to everybody is watch whose petition you're signing, because a lot of people can cross-file and they come off as a Republican, but they are not. They are Democrats. So please do your research when it comes to judges and school board.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great piece. I have your flyer up on the screen as we speak.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, we met a lot of great candidates yesterday. Not that anybody cares. I'm putting my weight behind Leanne Orton. She's ran before. She is a hard worker. Most of her practice is around family law. I think she'll be a great replacement for Judge Kelly. And she's just a wonderful person. And I think she'll do a great job as judge. So just some food for thought for you guys out there. I'm pretty sure she'll be at the Sunflower tonight. If not, she will be at my campaign kickoff so everybody can come out and talk to her.
Yeah, Leanne, the Orton family is a big family out here in Northeast. They're farmers out there. They've not forgotten where they came from. You go on their social media, it's all about the kids and the farms. So, that tells you a lot. And again, just because a judge can cross file, do your homework.
Yes.
I'll try to be
And
nice.
then, yes, and then that's exactly what I said. And then another thing, anybody who registered for a mail-in ballot, go online and re-register again for that, because I know myself and a few friends, and I think Brian as well, we all got things in the mail from the elections office to re-register for our mail-in ballots. So you might think you're going to be getting a mail-in ballot and you might not get it in the mail. So please check your registrations.
Yeah. And also, if you grab a hold of my QR code, it's up in the top left corner. I'll put the big one on the big screen. You capture that with your smartphone. That'll take you to my link tree. You scroll down to the bottom. It'll take you right to voter registration right there. You can
Yes.
change your party. You can sign up for mail-in ballot right from this QR code. For us old people learning all this new technology, that's Harrison Dunn. That's not me. He figured it all out for us. So yeah, they just scan that. It takes a link tree. Scroll down to the bottom. It takes you to voter registration. There you go.
Yes,
You
so
can do everything right there online.
please like and share that with every single person you need, because these smaller, not so colorful elections, they don't get as many people out. So we need to take back our county. We need to take back our city, because if we don't, guys and girls, we have some people there that just love to spread fear mongering, and they will do some real damage. So please, get the word out that these little elections are just as important. That's why Brian and I did not win for county council, because we only had a 20% show up. And now look what's happening. They're trying to raise your taxes.
Right. Breton brings down a balanced budget, take $3 million out of savings with a $65 million deal. And all they gotta do is take 3 million out of the rainy day fund, pay it off, balance the budget, no tax increase. No, but what do the Democrats want to do? No, we can't take money out of savings. Dude, that's like taking 3 million out of 65 million. It's like taking $100 out of your savings account. It's no
Right.
big deal. That's what it's for. So what the Democrats want to do? They want to give you a tax increase. They gave you one last year. You're getting one this year. And Brenton Davis is standing there, with his shield, battling them off, because they love the tax to spend. And you just remember this: when Chris Drexel is on county council pushing for a tax increase, I'm going to tell you something, and if you don't believe me, you Google it. He doesn't pay a dime, not one stinking dime in property taxes. He doesn't own a home.
No.
He doesn't.
And
He
neither
just
does
basically,
Mrs. Flores.
yeah, they don't even own homes to where they pay taxes. But by God, they sure love sticking it to the people that do own homes. Remember that, people. If you don't believe me, Google it up. Google it up.
Very good point.
Yeah. They
And another thing, guys and girls, I'm going to find out when the next county council meeting is, because you now have a chairman and a vice chairman in charge of elections who are publicly endorsing Democratic candidates. So if you don't think that they're in place, so there can be some funny business going on, they sure as heck are, and that's why they spent so much money to take Brian and I out of the race. So I will be going to the next city or county council meeting, and I'll be asking them to please not be in charge of elections anymore, to put Terry Scatella and Ellen Showerman in charge of elections. They ran on transparency, so let's do this thing right. Have a Republican and a Democrat in charge of elections.
Yeah, they basically rigged the system where there are no Republicans running anything on county government. They run all the personnel, the finance, board of elections. That is part of their game plan. Why do you think a DC packed back Drexel? They don't even know who this clown is. But the Democrats wanted control. They wanted the big mouth off of county council. They didn't want to give Kim a shot because they know that we're going to be telling them no to all this bullshit DEI and making sure that they're not taking care of their own little agenda, which they all do. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. So, I will find out the date for that next county council meeting. And if anybody wants to come out and stand behind me, I would appreciate it, because this is what we have to do, guys and girls. We have to fight them. We have to get to this before they can even start their team, because believe me, they will try with this race. They're going to try and take over city council. They'll try and get rid of Bretton Davis, and they will cause a lot of damage that who knows if it can even be repaired again.
no,
So with that, I'm going to get off the phone. Thank you, Brian and Brenda, for everything you do. And guys, let's make Erie great again. And I
Hoorah.
hope to see you guys all next Friday at Calamari's.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it, Kim. Thanks for your live report. We are up to 85 people on X on a pop-up Sunday afternoon matinee. I don't know what you guys are doing out there, but bless your hearts. Now it's up to 87. I've never had that many people on X in my life, but thanks, man. Everybody on X, appreciate it. Like and share it, because this is the only voice you have that isn't filtered. It isn't controlled. It isn't someone's writing a check and saying you can't say this and you can't say that. And that's exactly why Brenda and I and you, we, us do this. So, Brenda, you got a Charlie Kirk video. God, I want him on my show for just 10 minutes.
Stop calling men that are women, women, and stop calling women that are men, men. Be precise in it. Just don't put up with it. Like, I'm not going to call you that. I'm sorry. You don't stop being a man just because you wear camouflage, and I'll prove it to you. You don't stop being a white person if you wear blackface. They're wearing woman face. They're appropriating womanhood. You're the same chromosomal makeup. And finally, from a spiritual aspect, this is where I think the church has to lean in, and we have to rebuke this evil, which is, this is a war on God's design.
Right. Yeah.
This is an intentional, all-out campaign and crusade. God made man and woman in his image.
Charlie Kirk, I'm telling you, and it's funny. He goes to these crazy whack job left colleges, and these students think they're the smartest thing on the block, and he shuts them down with just logic. And of course, I forgot to come on the show with a hat. I always have a hat. So Mean Old Bastards. Great band, great people, great patriots. They're huge supporters of the show. He's like, here, have a hat. I'm like, well, at least I can do is bring you on the show and help promote local bands, local talent, man. This is what we need to do, And let's see, X is up at the 91. We need literally a handful more to break the 100 mark. So get this liked, share it out to your friends. They come on board, jump in, say hello, so we can say hello to you, because I can't see who's in the room until you say hello, because we are on 5 different channels. I don't see them. It comes into Restream, and I just get a counter on who's here and who's not. You say hi in the room, I'll say hi back to you, and that way we can appreciate every one of you, because every one of you, men and women that come into this show, you're like our family here. Because if it wasn't for you, I'd be sitting here talking to myself and Brenda and Kim, because they're the hardcore people that keep this thing going. So yeah, local races. I got to get his artwork up here, up in the Summit Township. You got Mark Sluppy and you got Michael Pace. Now these guys, this is going to be a race to watch. I mean, literally, you're gonna have to watch this one. It's not going to have thousands of people turning out, but these guys actually know each other. They're actually friends. We've helped each all other on our campaigns. So this is going to be what you see, the test of being good, good people. They're gonna run for the race fairly, with ethics, and it's not going to be a slaughter campaign. The best man wins, and you know what? This is going to be this is the one that's going to be watched, because I'm telling you, the last time there was a race that happened up there, it literally was a handful of votes that made the difference. And I make this point up because I'm telling you, every vote counts. And then and these off big sexy races, every vote does count. So yeah, I just want to make sure you guys pay attention to the Summit Supervisor race with Mark Sleppy and Mike Pace, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a barn burner, man. I'm telling you, it's literally going to come down to a handful of votes. You watch, and if I'm wrong, I'll buy pizza. But yeah, so we broke the 100 mark. We are at 100 on X. So thank you, X supporters, again. I love you guys, man. We might have to, Brenda, we might have to move the show to Sundays. I don't know. The numbers seem to be coming back a lot better on a Sunday matinee, but I get that. I know.
Well, people are sharing it on X.
Yeah, no, I get
JD
that.
started, and then Jennifer shared it.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, now we just need to get Rumble going.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's like, a quest. We'll get one channel going, we'll get the other one there. But yeah, so we got Lance. Thanks for coming in today. We appreciate that. Harrison Dunn's been putting tons and tons of good stats up here. He's put so many up there I can't even track on them. You're gonna have to read them on your own. Yeah, but JD, Mayor Slippery Rock, great guy, great patriot. Marine. Been on the stage with President Trump and all the big shots. So it's a privilege to have him come in here. He's been interviewed on the show. He always has an invitation to come back on the show, because he's a guy that's got his head screwed on straight, and he's the mayor of Slippery Rock. That's a fun story, but I get it. Sundays are definitely great. Oh, absolutely, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate that. And we know that Wednesday nights are tough because it's still a school night, and I know that most of us still do the worky thingy. I'm semi-retired, but I still do work. Brendan's got to get up in the morning. That's why we did him at 9. We moved him to 8. Seems to do better. Maybe we'll just start making a Sunday matinee to kind of warm people up to our Wednesday night show, because the numbers are really good. I mean, the numbers just keep ticking up on X, and and I appreciate that. And this is your show, not mine. You can call in the area code 814-873-3612. And if you want to be a boogerhead while you're on the call, you will get cut off and you will be deleted, because we don't play that game here. You want to call up and be nice, we'll give you your time. But if you want to be a butthead, you're out of here. Oh yeah, please say hi to April. She says no one mentions her. Well, she doesn't come in and say hi. Hi, April. Sorry about that. We know you guys are watching on your big screen TV, and we appreciate you guys being the great supporters that you are. So yeah, because we should, Lance, you should change your name to, I should say, Lance April, because some people do that. They put their spouse's name in their header, and that way we know you're talking to two of them. A good friend of mine, it's a husband and wife channel. Just so go ahead, put her name in there with you, change it up, and that way we know you both are watching. April,
They both are watching.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
on different accounts.
Oh. Oh, that's funny. We appreciate you guys. You guys have been like the number one fans next to Kim since the very beginning, and we appreciate you guys. And like, yeah, we watch it on the big screen TV. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of scary to see my big head on a big screen TV. We were babysitting Brenda's grandson, and we put it up on there, and he's looking at the TV, looking at me, looking at the TV. Papa, I said, yeah, Papa's on TV. That's a good host. But yeah, Brenda, what kind of videos you got left for us?
President Trump signing a new executive order to strip illegal immigrants of all taxpayer benefits. Now, the White House says those funds will be diverted to help American citizens who are truly in need. like those with disabilities and veterans. Griff Jenkins has the latest from Washington. Griff.
Hey, Emily, this is welcome news to border officials who have been saying for years that free stuff like federal benefits are a major pull factor or incentive driving illegal immigration. Now, this order wants to end that, telling every federal department and agency to root out and cut off any programs providing benefits to illegal migrants. Take a look. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that benefits for illegal migrants before this order over the next 10 years would include tens of billions you see here for Obamacare, Medicaid, tax credits, food stamps. Vice President Vance spoke about the order earlier this morning.
So many of our issues come back to the border because if you take 30, 40 million illegal aliens, you take Medicare fraud, Social Security fraud. Why are we taking the people's Social Security payments and giving it to illegal aliens? We know that's happening in the United States of America today. We've got to stop it.
The Federation for American Immigration Reform says taxpayers have been spending already over $180 billion annually, and the Manhattan Institute estimates every new illegal immigrant costs about $130,000. Now, the order also mandates improvements in welfare eligibility verification. That's important, Emily, because if you recall back in 1996, President Clinton signed a law to end welfare abuse. It barred illegal immigrants from receiving a wide range of benefits. But under the Biden administration, once they got paroled into the U.S., they became qualified aliens and became eligible again for some benefits. That now should end. Emily?
Griff Jenkins, thank you. All right, Cheryl, $182 billion annually. I can't even wrap my mind around that. And the saddest, most heartbreaking part is how many veterans and underserved and single mothers here are just getting absolutely obliterated with zero protections and zero actually efficient programs. And yet we're spending all of this to create, as Griff says, a pull factor.
Wow. Wow. And you know, it's funny that, you know, the Democrats always like, oh, look at that. You guys are going to have Social Security because the Republicans are. No, you guys stop giving away to the illegals and we'll be good. It will be fine. But, you know, just a real quick, April and Lance, I want to personally thank you for your donation. It was very humbling and we appreciate you. Will definitely change the direction of the show with your donation. You know, that has probably been one of the biggest, most, donation someone's done to this show in one time. It definitely will improve what we do. And again, from Brendan and I, we appreciate, and all the listeners, you know, make sure you say, you know, thank you to April and Lance for their donation. It's one of those behind the scenes donations where you don't see it on camera, but it is the heart and soul of the show. And that was huge. And we appreciate that. But yeah, so a lot of things going on, man. 3:52. We've been up here for 52 minutes, and I'm telling you, April just turned red. We should have to give her a live cam and do a live shot. But yeah, so again, Brenda, you got any
Breaking
good
news.
If not, we're gonna go
Trump
ahead and
cancels
maybe bring this in.
NYC's $9 congestion toll. Victory or mistake? Big news, New York. President Trump just nixed the $9 congestion toll for driving into Manhattan below 60th Street. The toll, which kicked off in January, has been massively unpopular with drivers and small businesses alike. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy slammed it as a slap in the face to working-class Americans. People have been livid about the extra fees just to get into the city. But here's the drama. Trump didn't hold back, tweeting, "Congestion pricing is dead. Long live the king." And Governor Kathy Hochul wasn't about to let that slide. She fired back, "We haven't had a king in 250 years. Some people are celebrating this decision, calling it a win for everyday commuters, while transit advocates argue it's a disaster for traffic and the environment. MTA officials point out that traffic dropped 9% last month. So, what's your take? Is this a win for New Yorkers, or will it make the city's problems worse? Drop your thoughts below.
Well, they had congestion before this money grab, illegal tax fee, whatever you want to call it. The people go to work, they pay their taxes. If they own property, they pay the property taxes. They buy gas, they pay the gas tax. Then they have to pay for the highway to be put in, and then they have to pay to drive it, to go to work. ridiculous. It's just a Democrat tax spend. And if they were going to say, we're going to take that $9 and we're going to reinvest it in, I don't know, something that would benefit everybody. No, it's going to go pay for all these illegal immigrants that they are housing that's costing millions of dollars. Yeah, no. So, here it is, the big meanie guy telling New York not to do that because it's inappropriate. And, of course, what is and of course, she goes right into rant mode. And it's fun to watch these, ultra liberal Democrats start to melt down. Taxes in lower Manhattan. No kidding. Lower in Manhattan than in Erie. I wouldn't doubt it because every time we talked about it, tear a house down, that's $3,000 off the roster. The next house gets torn down. That's $3,000. Now, what was it? What would be the percentage of payroll does the city spend out of their budget? I heard it's a very high number. I think it's at the highest record ever where the majority of their budget goes to payroll because they keep hiring more people. Well, then here comes Trump getting rid of payroll and finding all this fraud, waste, and abuse, and the Democrats are coming unglued. I personally thank them. Do I agree on everything? No. But I'm telling you, the intent and the mission, I think we will definitely benefit all of us. That have some of the brightest. I know. No, it is. We get it, Harrison. We get it that we are. And that's why the city of Erie is dying a slow, painful death. It's just like the red light system. People don't realize what the red light system is. If you're sitting at a red light, you look up, there's a little white light. And in all of our vehicles, we have a switch. It says, north, south, east, or west. Whatever direction of travel, we flick the switch. That little light comes on. It turns the green light. The green light, we get the green light. Because if we come up as an emergency vehicle with lights and sirens on, we have to come to a complete stop at that red light. Those lights and sirens do not excuse you from the vehicle code. You have to come to a complete stop. You have to check, double check, back check before you take that red light. The red light system was developed in Erie back in the 60s, I believe. And the first generation the gentleman created here, gave it to the city. The technology wasn't there. They would flick the lights for 5 blocks would turn green and get stuck. So now with the technology, if you look at a new intersection, they have a nice new big white LED. That's part of the red light system. Well, they were a little bit short on the money to finish this project up. So the guys that were heading up the project in Erie, they came to me and said, Brian, you understand the red light system. You drive ambulances that you flick that switch, light turns green, you slow down with caution, of course, but you're not running a red light. We put together a package. It was $180,000 of, I think, was going to be ARPA funding. And of course, it got approved and politics got involved. They got squashed. And then I just got a text from the gentleman in charge. They got their money. So that means that what they're going to do is they're going to take that money and equip the vehicles that don't have the red light system installed already. Will be getting them. Now, here's county dollars going to a good project, and it wasn't my idea. I was the guy that just kind of spearheaded it and gingerly pushed it. We presented it to the county executive. He liked the idea. Safety, safety, safety. If that red light system saves one life, it's worth the money it was spent on it. But the only thing I got to take a shot is here's the county helping the city with projects, which is fine. We're partners. We're a team. We are in a symbiotic relationship and we have to work together. But, when you have Rock Copeland's whole kick in the teeth is about, the county's going to start paying their fair share. Dude, we pay way more than our fair share. And the poor people in Northeast get nothing. Well, we got them a water system this year so they can put water out there. Corey doesn't get anything. Ellen Showerman's district didn't get anything. Well, last year, they got some money for some new sewer upgrades at the treatment plant. It's county tax dollars. It's not the city of Erie tax dollars. Now you have city of Erie people just scrapping that money back into the city of Erie to fund all their projects, when the people out in Elgin and Albion and Northeast and in Harbor Creek and Summit and Green get nothing for their tax dollars. Why do you think they took me out? Why do you think they didn't want Kim in? Because they know we would have pushed that money back out into the county. We would have invested that money. It would have tripled itself back again. And just like Bretton was talking to Lincoln Breakfast, how much money he saved the taxpayers by getting that money to just kind of fold and unfold and create more money. And it ends up being a tax decrease, because we didn't have to raise taxes for these county projects. The city has their own projects. They have their own budget. Why does the county, a guy in Elgin or Albion or Corey, have to pay for the city of Erie? No. The city of Erie has its own mayor. It has its own city council. And we elect the same people over and over and over again, and they still get a bad product. Stop it. Stop the madness. We talked about yesterday at the Lincoln Breakfast about just to say no. There's going to be a couple questions up on the ballot about letting these judges back in. They all get no's. They all failed. They're all ultra liberal. You tell them no. We'll get some graphics up here later on when it gets a little closer on their names and specifically what to vote no on. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just giving you the information. This came from Senator Laughlin. It's called the Just Say No Project. Makes sense, because all these wackadoodle judges need to go. And we can see what happens when you get bad judges on the bench, or you get an ultra liberal Democrat judge that walks around in sheep's clothing and pretends to be something she's not. On that happy note, I'll give a last call if anybody wants to make a quick call. Brenda just sent me a note and says, I believe that was all the videos we had, because we didn't really plan on doing a whole hour show. We figured, well, I'll do a half an hour, but man, you guys have just been overwhelming. 112 people on X. Wow. I'm just like blown away. I want to, again, I know I said it once, twice. You guys on X, I hope you found a home. Please follow us. If you can't find us, X is kind of quirky sometimes. You can always go to YouTube, Boots on the Ground with Brian Shank. We want to make another investment, a big one. That's why we're looking for a sponsor to help us, or sponsors, and that way we can buy the next package up. Gives us 8 channels, but it gives us more storage. We can store more videos and content in here, and we get ready to go. Other than that, Brenda, we don't have an outro video, do we? Because the transition between programs, right?
We do.
Oh, we do? Okay, well then, go ahead. Play it up.
If tomorrow things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, in New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. We appreciate all of your great attendance numbers today, man. I am just blown away. And I personally thank you. Again, a special thank you to my lovely wife, Brenda, that makes all the magic happen behind the scenes. And with their upgrades, we can bring her on camera, but she's like, oh, hell no, I'm not coming on camera. But that's okay. Again, thank you all for coming out. We'll be back here on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And Brent and I will have a conversation about, maybe doing a Sunday afternoon matinee on a regular basis. We have plenty of content. We got plenty of winning. I just get kind of really tired of the winning. I have to take a nice winning nap. But other than that, please be safe out there. The weather looks pretty decent. The roads are clear. We went down to the Fairfield Hose Company Club 27 for lunch. If you're not a member, you can still stop down at during 11 to 1 for lunch. We appreciate that our support. That money comes back to the fire department and helps keeps the tires on the trucks and fuel in them. So thank you all for coming out on this Sunday. I will be at the Sunflower Club at about 7 o'clock. I go on duty at 7:30 with State Representative Jake Banta. Come up here and get a photo, have a drink on us. They've got a great band. They always have great local talent up there. And again, thank you all for coming out today. And like we always say, Shank